wanted to address the fluoride issue. I know the last vote on it, I think, was back in '98. I just want to know if anybody did any kind of studies on what fluoride is and what it does, because it's not the fluoride that you find in your toothpaste or anything like that. It's a known carcinogen. It on record causes cancer, and it drops IQ points up to 20 points. It gets in your bones. The FDA labels it as a drug. So, you know, I just want to know if anybody did any research on this stuff, if they know that they're putting drugs in the city water supply. Just last week, I think it was, Time Magazine had an article on it saying that fluoride causes cancer. And you're putting this stuff into our water? Not to mention, I think for the chemicals and stuff like that that you buy for fluoride, you waste like $1 million a year on that. $10 million can be going to a lot of other places. So, you know, there's no debate about fluoride. It's got to be taken out of our water. And I think everybody needs to do some research on that and look into it. Because I don't remember voting to have that put in my water. And I don't think anybody else wants acid, chemical toxins dumped in their water. I don't think they would vote on that. So I don't know how it even got voted to get put into the water supply. And, you know, just so you know, that poisons people and it can kill people. That makes, you know, that makes people complicit in ethics violations and, you know,
thanks, Chad.
Crimes against humanity.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Okay, now we're on to special presentations. The first one has been withdrawn, but we do have an addition to our special presentation calendar, and it's recognizing Sacramento Beer Week. And I believe that's Councilmember McCarty.
Councilmember McCarty.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Mayor. This isn't a joke, and it's not just so we can get free samples of beer, but certainly it's my pleasure to present this resolution tonight. You know, I had the pleasure of doing this 4 years ago during the first Beer Week. And you can introduce yourselves, but certainly the 9 ones that we always talk about. We know we had a big spread in the Bee and the News and Review last week, where certainly River City Brewing, Roostaller, New Helvetia, Rubicon, New Glory, Device, Two Rivers, Track 7, and Hoppy. I know they're pretty much in every district.
I wanted to know why this is not being addressed by anybody, why it's not being put out in the news. The media is not covering it. It says that the California Governor's Office of Emergency Services exists to enhance safety and preparedness through strong leadership, collaboration, and meaningful relationships. It says our goal is to protect lives and property by effectively providing, preparing, and responding to and recovering from all threats, crimes, hazards, and emergencies. The question I want to ask is, how come none of this is being addressed, and isn't that a threat to everybody's safety? There are many cities around the country that are taking this out of their city water supply. I wanted to know if Sacramento County and other counties around, what they're doing about this, what they're doing to stop it. I have many news sources that are not coming off of Fox News or CNN or any of those news websites, and I can give you news sources if you'd like to hear them. Freedom of Information Act request posted on informable.com. Transmissions between federal, state, and local officials as well as other governments show they're well aware of the high levels of radiation from Fukushima on the West Coast and the whole nation. Infants born after March 17, 2012 in California are exposed to 40,000 becquerels of iodine-131 that causes thyroid cancer. There's an actual letter from the FDA telling physicians in California not to put people on potassium iodide, which helps guard against radiation poisoning. Complete violation. The only thing I can take from that is they don't want to panic the public, which is understandable. The problem is radiation is an accumulative, meaning unless you do something to protect against the radiation, it's only going to accumulate more and more in the body, and eventually people are going to get sick and die. This is a public safety issue, and it's been going on for 3 years now, and there's no media coverage, no public officials telling us how to protect ourselves. Cesium-134 and 137 are in the pollen, in the water, in the air. And let me read you something from Section 802 of the First Patriot Act passed October 27, 2001. Any action, terrorism, any action that endangers human life that is a violation of any federal or state law. So if you're being forced by government officials or higher-ups not to report on this stuff, on this public safety issue, the people who are your bosses, if you don't have the guts and the courage to stand up to them and tell the people that they're being poisoned and how to take care of themselves, then maybe you should just resign.
Okay, Mr. Taylor.
And leave your positions.
Mr. Taylor,
or you should be fired for not
Mr.
addressing
Taylor.
a public safety issue. So there's the nuclear fallout map that I got from globalresearch.com showing the nuclear fallout coming to the coast of California right there. So there's your proof right there of radiation hitting our coast that nobody's addressing and telling the public how to keep themselves safe. And also, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that a bunch of percentages of animals and plants that are being radiated. And the bluefin tuna percentage is now up to 100% of our bluefin tuna is contaminated with radiation. And also much of the kelp. And so, you know, there's radiation out here, and that's going in our water. And some of this waste from Fukushima is being buried in Sacramento, particularly in North Highlands, right next to a city water supply. I mean, you know, you're putting fluoric acid in the water. I think it's time to have a new discussion about that. I don't remember voting to have poisonous acid added to my water. And that's another thing that could be saving the city a lot of money just by taking that stuff out. So there's a couple public safety issues here that need to be addressed. You know, people's health and safety are at risk here.
Ron Inslee?
Terror is a bunch of bull. Just a poor excuse for you to use up all your bullets. How much money does it take to really make a full clip? 9/11 building 7, did they really pull it? And a bunch of other.
I was just curious when clapping is appropriate. Is that after they speak or after council people speak? Again, when is clapping appropriate? After the speaker speaks or after a council person speaks? I just want to follow proper protocol. I notice that when the big bucks king things come up, it's very liberal for the clapping. But could it be that things that are not so popular with certain people are frowned upon? Anyone have an idea?
Yes, these men and their hypnotized followers call this a new order. It is not new, and it is not order.